தினம்தோறும் விளக்கேற்ற நல்ல எண்ணெய் இதயம் நல்லெண்ணெய்.
May I request the Learned Advocate General to give farewell address to the Honorable Thiru Justice S.Vaidyanathan.
My Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice and his companion judges of the Madras High Court, the cause celebre of this evening, Honorable Thiru Justice S. Vaidyanathan, friends and family members of Justice Vaidyanathan, Learned Additional Solicitor General, Learned Additional Advocates General, State Public Prosecutor, State Government Pleader, Learned law officers of the Tamil Nadu government at the principal bench as well as the Madurai bench, Learned Public Prosecutor of Pondicherry, Puducherry, and the Learned Government Pleader of Puducherry, law officers of the center and the state, my other colleagues, the chairman of the Bar Council, the vice chairman, presidents of the various bar associations of our state, and the office bearers of the respective associations, the registrar general, officers and staff of the Madras High Court at the principal seat and the bench at Madurai, fellow senior advocates and my beloved brothers and sisters in the bar, representatives of the electronic and print media, and those viewers who are watching this online, and ladies and gentlemen. முதலில் என் மாலை வணக்கம். Good evening. We are assembled here today to bid farewell to the Honorable Justice Thiru S. Vaidyanathan on his elevation as the Chief Justice of the Meghalaya High Court. I would like to commence with a comment on the tremendous goodwill and popularity His Lordship has generated during his short of 4 decades and more of service in the legal fraternity by loosely borrowing and applying the famous Latin maxim, res ipsa loquitur. The teeming crowds here speaks for itself. His Lordship was born in Coimbatore and after an early education there soon shifted base to Chennai for his further education. Graduating in economics in 1982, he took the bold step forward of a prospective first-generation lawyer by joining the Madras Law College in 1982. It was here that His Lordship and I made our first acquaintance, though I was senior to him by a year. I hasten to add that I never ragged him, but both because I am not of that temperament, but more importantly, he is not the personality that would attract it, for I can say that he had the same disarming smile which he has now, even back then. It was in 1986 that Justice Vaidyanathan realized his true passion by completing his postgraduate diploma in industrial relations, labor welfare, and personnel management. He would have been picked up by any leading company in the personnel department, but His Lordship decided to enter the corridors of the Madras High Court on August 27, 1986, and thus began a 4-year decade of love affair. His Lordship's fascination for labor and industrial relationship is not by chance. His illustrious father, Thiru V. Subramaniam, was a leading trade unionist and a founding member of the first union for white-collar employees way back in 1946. His father's association with the late V.G. Rao, the doyen among labor lawyers, was possibly the tilting factor in the young lawyer joining the firm of Rao and Reddy, a citadel of labor law. Not before long, Justice Vaidyanathan had made his mark as a defender of the rights of the weaker sections of the community, and with particular reference to industrial workers and persons in service of the government and private sector. Yielding to his academic inclinations, he was also involved as editor with the labor law commentaries published by the Madras Book Agency, which was started by his father. Our association once again resumed when Justice Vaidyanathan was the standing counsel for the erstwhile Tamil Nadu Electricity Board in respect of labor and service matters, and I was then discharging my functions as the Advocate General of the then government in my previous avatar. We both benefited much through several cases which also made us close. Soon thereafter, he was elevated as the additional judge of this esteemed High Court on 25th February, October 2013, and on 14th April 2015, he was appointed as a permanent judge of this court. I still remember the first matter which I did before his lordship as a single judge, when in the course of his dictation, he started referring to me by my nickname Bharat. I interjected and asked him to change it to P.S. Raman, and in his usual pleasant style, he told me he will be during that correction in the chamber and then proceeded to call me by that nickname throughout the dictation. Funnily, he did the same last week when I did my last matter before him. Few of your lordships, as well as the members of the bar who are here between 2009 and 2011, would recall that even then, as the Advocate General, it pained me to get into the statistics of disposals and references to leading judgments rendered by the judges. But I was softly informed that both the welcome as well as the farewell addresses of the Advocate General are reported in all the leading law journals, and therefore posterity may require such information. I shall therefore oblige them briefly here. During his tenure as a judge, Justice Vaidyanathan has disposed of a total of almost 67,000 cases, which is a commendable achievement in one's judicial career. It is not just important how many cases one disposes, as much as the quality of the disposal. In this context, I must admit that I found some of these statistics to be quite misleading, particularly miscellaneous petitions. Surely condoned delays should not count, but apparently they do. In Justice Vaidyanathan's case, it is clear that both volume and validity reckoned. His lordship's panache for labor and service law did not stop him from embracing with ease the other branches of law in which he has sat. In particular, his ruling in Silicon Valley Auto Components case is a forerunner in Sarfasi law and its applicability to agricultural land. Likewise, his judgment in PAG Kumaran on unilateral cancellation of settlement deeds was a forerunner, as was his judgment sitting in a division bench in Kupuraj's case on restitution of conjugal rights. All these reflects his wide-ranging expertise. Tax laws can sometimes be daunting, but when Justice Vaidyanathan sat in that portfolio while dealing with the case of Chennai Central Cooperative Bank, he elaborately dealt with the intricacies of Section 80 of the Income Tax Act, as well as the definition of what is banking business. In yet another landmark judgment, his lordship also emphasized the need for maternity leave while ensuring that employees were provided the same by state corporations. I was just told before I came to this hall that in these several years, his lordship has sat either as the senior judge or as the junior judge in as many as 73 division benches. 74, I stand corrected. 74 division benches. I do remember that because in the last month or two, while we were awaiting the presidential proclamation with Hari, your lordship should sit with 4 or 5 judges in the afternoon. Chief Justice Earl Warren said that quality of justice must always be tempered with mercy, and Justice Vaidyanathan was an epitome of that, and he was one of the forerunners in upholding that a 100% claim on functional disability in respect of motor accidents should be granted in the leading case of Oriental Insurance. Your lordship is now stepping on to greater heights, both literally and figuratively, as you ascend the salubrious hills of the beautiful northeastern part of our great country. I am told by your lordship's illustrious predecessor, Justice Sanjeev Banerjee, himself having been a part of our High Court, that while the court may not be large, he told me that it is sensationally beautiful. I am sure that you and Mrs. Vaidyanathan will enjoy the beauty of Meghalaya to its fullest. When Shakespeare used the expression Parting is such sweet sorrow in Romeo and Juliet. It took some time for the immense philosophical content of that expression to seep in. Parting is sorrowful, but it is also pregnant with sweetness because it triggers memories while at the same time invokes visions of the next reunion. So, when I, on behalf of the members of the bar, wish your lordships farewell, it is certainly filled with sweet sorrow for not only the memories of our association, which we will all carry, but also the anticipation of our next meeting will always be in our thoughts. Until then, adios, brother. May you light up the courts in Meghalaya with your erudition, dedication, and above all, your pleasing personality. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I request the Honorable Thiru Justice S. Vaidyanathan to offer acceptance speech.
Honorable Chief Justice, my brother and sister judges at the principal seat on Madurai bench of the Madras High Court, former judges of the High Court, Registrar General and other registrar at the principal seat as well as the Madurai bench, the Advocate General, additional Advocates General and other law officers of the state, senior advocates and other advocates who are present here in person as well as at the Madurai bench virtually, officers and other staff members of the registry, print and electronic media, my dear friends and well wishers. My hearty evening wishes to all of you. On one hand, though I am happy on my elevation as the Chief Justice of High Court Meghalaya, on the other, I feel sad that my innings as a judge with this red building, which is my home court, comes to an end. I vividly remember the day, 25th October 2013, when I was sworn in as an additional judge of this court, since my mother was present for the swearing in ceremony. She used to rear cows and sell cow's milk to run the family of six, which includes three of my siblings. I miss her today. My father, late V. Subramanian, was a shoe polish seller who later grew to be a committed trade unionist. In fact, he was responsible for the trade union movement for the white collared employees in the state. He was closely associated with A. Ramachandran and V.G. Rao barristers. It, was, it is also worth mentioning that my father, who studied up to SLC, drafted the Madras Shops and Establishments Act. Now it is Tamil Nadu Shops and Establishments Act. And the draft was settled by Mr. V.G. Rao, barrister. My parents guided me in all walks of life and taught me how to lead a simple, honest, and down to earth life. I am sure my parents shower their blessings in abundance from heaven. I thank my in laws, brothers, and sister, my wife, and my son, who stood as pillars for me to achieve something in my life. I thank my mentors too for the guidance. In fact, during my college days, I was very much interested in sports, especially cricket and tennis. I could always be seen in the ground. After becoming a lawyer, my father said that the field of sports is an ocean, and so also the profession, and that I have to forsake one to shine in the other. When I expressed my choice of taking up advocacy as my profession, he said that my student life begins then. Coming to my family life, in fact, at one stage, I was almost running an old age home in my house as my uncle, aunts, and parents were living with me, and all of them were taken good care of by my wife and my sister-in-law, Sri Vidya. But for my wife's support at those crucial moments, despite being a bank officer, it would have been difficult for me to focus on my court work. As an advocate, when I started my practice in the year 1986, I should say that I was in Gurukulam. What I mean to say here is that I was not a mere junior practicing law. Whenever my senior was not keeping good health, I had to take care of him. Once, when his wife was hospitalized, I was sitting outside the ward to attend the calls of the doctor and hospital staff. Likewise, when one of the family members of my senior was unable to attend the examination in time, I had to drive the car. I really wonder whether the present generation juniors advocates adored their seniors at least to a smaller extent. As a judge for a decade, I had the privilege of holding sittings with as many as 74 judges, both at the principal seat and Madurai bench. Of the said number, 26 are retired and 48 are sitting judges. At this juncture, I would like to point out that whenever a new judge held sitting with me, I ensured that my brother or sister judge dictated or authored the first judgment on the first day and that they actively participate in the court proceedings by posing questions to the bar, thereby making them feel comfortable. As for junior lawyers, I would like to say a few words. Each and every lawyer must realize that genuine lawyers are going to be deprived of briefs on account of touts and fake lawyers, and it is duty of every lawyer bring it to the notice of the court about the fake lawyer. It is my earnest wish that Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry ensures that only advocates with utmost honesty and integrity are elected as office bearers. Why I wish so is the lawyers several decades ago earned a high level of goodwill in the society. To demonstrate this, I would like to share with you a short narrative given by my father. One day, when my father was traveling in a tram in Madras, there was an elderly person sitting. When a young chap came near the elderly person, the latter inquired the farmer about his vocation. When the farmer told the latter that he is an advocate, the latter stood up and offered him his seat. Such was the respect the advocates commanded from society during those years. Whether such respect the advocates get now is $1 million question. Next, my area is concerned is in respect of two fields, MCOP and matrimonial jurisdiction. Coming to MCOP jurisdiction, it is quite unfortunate that lawyers are fleecing the poor litigants who are victims of motor accidents. The moment a road accident takes place, the unholy nexus between the police and the advocates is set in motion. As far as the cases under matrimonial jurisdiction, it is quite disheartening to note that some advocates are not interested in reunion of the married couples. There are certain instances where even if the parties are inclined for reunion, some lawyers ensure that the couples are not reunited as the reunion prevents them from fleecing money from them. It is my earnest desire that advocates practicing in the above two areas do their best to their clients. As is known, only in the profession of advocacy, the advocates are referred to as gentlemen. So every lawyer should try to fit into that word. Also, the advocate should try to ensure that once a litigation commences, mediation is given preference so that matters can be settled at the earliest point of time within a short duration. Coming to the attached staff and other staff members in the judicial side of the principal seat, I am beholden to Agilandeshwari, my court officer, Abdul Rahman, Elizabeth Bhuwana, Vidya and Aravind, my attached PAs, and Srikanth, Revati and Girija, since retired, and few other PAs in the common pool, were very sincere in typing orders with not only dedication but also promptitude. I am thankful to my posting clerks, Dhanashekhar, Balaji, Vasant, and Balachandra. I also owe my gratefulness to Ilangovan, Parthiban, Saddam Hussain, Srinivasalu, and late Parthasadi, office assistant at the principal seat, and Devendran, Kulab, and Vijayan, my drivers. My PSOs, Mr. Mani, Ramesh, Badri, and Krishnan, too deserve my profound thanks. Of these, I would say that Mr. Mani is the best. It will not be an exaggeration if I say that such an efficient person is not available to any one of the judges in the Madras High Court now. I wish that all the PSOs attached to the judges attend one or two sessions in which Mr. Mani may be asked to address the PSOs as to how to conduct themselves. I also thank my law interns, Abhiraj and Lokeshwaran, for the usual excellent research work. All my attached staff members used to remain in the court till I left for my house late in the evening all these years. Also, I thank the attached staff members at Chennai residence, namely Sentries Muthu Satish, Vignesh and others, Satish Kumar, Velmurugan, Renuka, Sanjay, Chetan, Karpagam, Kala, Jerila, Murugan. Amongst the attached staff members, Agilandeshwari, who is my court officer, right from the date of my elevation, deserves a special mention. After assuming office as a judge, when I inquired as to the difficulty, according to her, a judge would face, she spontaneously replied that orders should rarely be reserved, which suggestion of hers I followed in letter and spirit and ensured that most of the orders are dictated in the open court and the orders which are reserved or delivered without any delay. The services of Abdur Rahman, my attached PA, for well over 8 years, who follows me like a shadow, also deserves praise and special mention. His presence with me, keeping aside his personal interests and commitments, even when I was sitting at Madurai bench, made me feel at home and never experienced the feeling of solitude at the Madurai bench. At the same time, the services of Vidya, my court-attached PA, whose rich experience with senior judges in the past, coupled with her word power, cannot be left unstated, and also the sincere, meticulous, and caretaking approach of Elizabeth Buvana for well over 8 years. Coming to the other sections of the registry, though each and every section was helpful in discharging my duties, round the clock service rendered by J section, earlier under the leadership of Kannappan, Registrar cum Special Officer Liasoning, and Protocol section in general, and Govindraj, Assistant Registrar in particular, are indeed praiseworthy. Coming to the staff members at Madurai bench, I owe my gratefulness to Shankar and Suresh Babu, who have since been promoted, and Srinivasan, Rajalakshmi, Raja Kannan, and other PAs who attended my court. Mr. Rajendran and Mr. Marimuthu, my court officers. Segar and Malaichami, my OAs. Pandian and Arun, my drivers. And Veerachinu, my PSO. The officers and staff members of various sections of the judicial as well as the administrative side at Madurai bench also did extremely well, and I am thankful to them also. Having talked about the officers and staff members in the Madurai bench, it will be unfair on the part if I do not speak a line or two about Mr. Chandrasekhar, fondly called as Chandru, a retired SAR. The services of Chandru, who was working right from the date of the establishment of Madurai bench and even after his retirement in SAR, deserves a special mention. To put it simply, if one were to think of food court, the person who comes to everyone's mind is Chandru, who was known for his utmost honesty, sincerity, and dedication to work. Whenever I was not in a comfort zone at home, the presence of my pets, Tommy and Jerry, used to relieve me of work pressure. I am so attached to my pets for their unconditional love, which I will be missing during my stint at Meghalaya till August 2024. During my tenure as a judge, if I had hurt any staff members, lawyer, or even a litigant, it would have been only unintentional, and my sincere apologies to them. With this, I conclude my address. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, my lord. May I conclude the proceedings, my lord?
April.
National anthem.
शुभ आशीष मागी गाही सब जय गाथा जन जन मंगल गायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
தினம்தோறும் விளக்கேற்ற நல்ல எண்ணெய் இதயம் நல்லெண்ணெய்.